Your latest blood test shows something you've never noticed before. Your eGFR is lower than it was last year. Does this always mean your kidneys are failing? Not necessarily. Before you panic, let's understand what eGFR really measures, why it may change, and when it's time to speak with your doctor. eGFR stands for Estimated Glomerular Filtration Rate. In simple terms, it's an estimate of how efficiently your kidneys may be filtering waste from your blood. Doctors don't usually look at creatinine by itself. They often use it together with factors such as age and sex to calculate your eGFR. Think of your kidneys as the body's natural filtration system. Every minute, they remove waste products and help maintain the right balance of fluids and minerals. An eGFR result gives your healthcare provider an estimate of how well this important filtering process may be working at that moment. Because eGFR is an estimate rather than a direct measurement, doctors interpret it alongside your medical history, physical examination, urine tests, blood pressure, and other laboratory results. Looking at the complete picture provides much more useful information than focusing on one number alone. But why would your eGFR go down in the first place? Surprisingly, kidney disease isn't the only possible explanation. One of the biggest misconceptions about eGFR is that a lower number always means permanent kidney disease. In reality, that's not always the case. Temporary factors such as dehydration, certain medications, or even a recent illness may influence kidney function for a short time, which is why doctors often recommend repeat testing before drawing conclusions. For example, if you haven't been drinking enough fluids, your kidneys may temporarily filter blood less efficiently until your body returns to normal balance. Likewise, some medicines can influence kidney function in certain people. That's why your healthcare provider considers your overall health, not just one laboratory result. Because of these normal variations, doctors usually compare your current eGFR with previous blood tests instead of relying on a single result. Watching how the number changes over weeks or months often provides much more meaningful information than looking at one isolated laboratory value alone. An eGFR above 90 is generally considered to be in the normal or high range, although the number still needs to be interpreted alongside other health information. A result between 60 and 89 may sometimes be seen with normal aging or other circumstances. One result by itself does not establish chronic kidney disease. When eGFR is below 60, doctors may look more closely at the result, particularly if it remains reduced over time. But even then, the number needs context. Urine findings, blood pressure, previous kidney tests, medications, and other medical conditions can all help determine what the result may mean for an individual person. An eGFR below 60 that persists for 3 months or longer can be one indicator of chronic kidney disease, but doctors usually consider additional evidence before making that determination. And if the number suddenly falls, that may require a different evaluation, because acute kidney problems can sometimes develop quickly and may have different causes. So the question isn't simply whether your eGFR is lower. The bigger question is whether it's changing over time, and whether other signs of kidney problems are appearing alongside it. Your eGFR can be influenced by several factors, and some are temporary. Dehydration, recent illness, certain medications, and changes in blood pressure can affect kidney function or the laboratory results used to estimate eGFR. That's why a lower number shouldn't immediately be interpreted as permanent damage without considering what was happening around the time of the test. Your body composition can matter too. Creatinine comes partly from normal muscle metabolism, so people with very different amounts of muscle may have different creatinine levels. Because creatinine is used in eGFR calculations, doctors interpret the result in context, rather than assuming that the same number means exactly the same thing for everyone. Your eGFR can also change as you get older, and certain health conditions can place additional stress on the kidneys. High blood pressure and diabetes are especially important because, when poorly controlled, they can contribute to kidney damage over time. Managing these conditions with appropriate medical care can be an important part of protecting kidney health. But there's another kidney marker that can sometimes reveal problems even when your eGFR doesn't look dramatically abnormal, and it's found in a test you may already have taken, your urine. Here's something many people don't realize. Your eGFR isn't the only important kidney marker. A urine test can sometimes reveal signs of kidney damage even when eGFR is still relatively preserved. One important measurement is albumin in the urine, because healthy kidneys usually prevent significant amounts of this protein from passing into urine. When albumin repeatedly appears in higher than expected amounts, it can be a sign that the kidney's filtering barrier may not be working normally. Doctors may use a urine albumin to creatinine ratio, often called UACR, to evaluate this. Just like eGFR, the result needs to be interpreted in context and may need to be repeated. This is why doctors may look at both sides of the picture, how well your kidneys appear to filter, and whether there are signs of kidney damage. An eGFR trend combined with urine findings can provide much more useful information than either result considered by itself. Now we know that eGFR and urine testing tell different parts of the story, but what should you actually do if your eGFR has dropped? The next steps are more practical than you might think. If your eGFR has fallen, don't immediately assume the worst. Start by discussing the result with your healthcare professional. They may compare it with your previous results. Review your medications, check your blood pressure, and look at urine testing. This helps determine whether the change appears temporary or whether it needs closer follow-up. If you have diabetes or high blood pressure, keeping these conditions appropriately managed can be especially important for long-term kidney health. Your healthcare professional may also recommend lifestyle changes based on your individual situation, such as a balanced eating pattern, appropriate physical activity, avoiding smoking, and using medications exactly as prescribed. And don't try to raise or lower your eGFR with supplements, extreme diets, or internet remedies without professional guidance. Some products marketed for kidney health may not be appropriate for everyone. Your safest plan depends on why your eGFR changed, your other health conditions, and the medications you take. But there's one more thing you should know. A declining eGFR isn't always about what happened yesterday. It can sometimes reveal a pattern that has been developing quietly for years. A declining eGFR becomes more important when the change is persistent or continues over repeated tests. If your results are consistently moving downward, your healthcare professional may investigate more closely for possible kidney disease or other contributing conditions. The pattern over time can tell a very different story from one unexpectedly low result. You should also seek medical advice if a change in kidney function occurs alongside symptoms such as swelling, major changes in urination, persistent nausea, unusual fatigue, or shortness of breath. These symptoms can have many possible causes, but when they occur with abnormal kidney tests, they should be evaluated by a qualified healthcare professional. So remember, eGFR is an estimate, not a diagnosis. One lower result doesn't automatically mean kidney failure, but a persistent decline deserves attention. If you've had an eGFR test recently, talk with your healthcare professional about what your result means in your specific situation. And if this video helped you understand kidney health, subscribe to VitalBites for more evidence-based health education. This video is for educational purposes only and does not diagnose or treat any medical condition. eGFR can vary and should be interpreted alongside other clinical information. If you have concerns about your kidney function or test results, speak with a qualified healthcare professional.